Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. Maddie and I, as always, were just talking before the pod, and we need to hashtag save it for the pod because we were talking about like
Yes.
older sisters and the things that they do that we are we slightly jealous of? Are we happy for them living their best lives? What are your thoughts?
A little bit of both. I'm trying to find. I had there it is. I always keep a list like, oh, it'd just be fun to talk about on
Yes.
podcast. And yeah, I am happy for my sister, but also I'm jealous because
Right.
we were just talking about hair, and I am like, I got my hair cut last May, and it was a big shop, and it was done by this bitch of a hairstylist who was a bitch, was super rude. I should have gotten up and left when she was so rude to me, but I was like a little people
What did she
pleaser.
say? Like why was it such a bad experience?
I feel like I talked about this before, but
I'm not on the
mistake number
pod.
one. No?
No, this is like new info.
New info from like a year ago.
Hashtag new info alert. I love it.
So, mistake number one is I didn't have what I wanted to do with my hair, like
Yep.
ingrained in my brain. Like I didn't walk in there with like the after photo I wanted. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Mistake number
Yep.
one. So I can understand this lady's frustration with me because I was like, oh, not sure. And to my benefit, when I sat down in the chair, I was like point blank, I am looking for a new like ride or die hairstylist. Like the last one burned me. Like I gave her so many chances.
My God.
I had like the Jennifer Aniston like long face layers cut, loved it, had it several times, but she would never do both sides of the long face framing bangs the same. They were always one would be perfectly like it's supposed to be like layered down,
Yeah.
right, and blend, and the other side would be like "Arr," and then like my hair because she would get like
What?
so in. I know she would be talking to me, distracted. I have a lot of hair, X, Y, and Z. So like and then I went back 2 times to fix that haircut, still wasn't fixed, and I was
Oh,
like, you're dead to me. So she's actually not at the salon anymore, so it means I can go back to the salon. If you know, you know. Like it's like awkward to go in and be like, "Oh, I'm not here to see that person." So
I have
anyway, I
no
was like,
shame.
"Oh yeah, I'm just like
I
awkward in that sense."
switched hairstylists in a small ass salon. I didn't care because I liked the salon. One girl who she's my ride or die, I've literally been going to her for years. She did my hair once because my normal girl couldn't. And I was like, I'm going with you forever. I don't care. I don't care. And she's like, okay. So
Hmm,
what are you
nice.
gonna do?
Yeah, literally. So I was like, I need to find a new hairstylist, someone that's not gonna like f up my hair. Got a
Yeah.
recommendation from a friend. They're like, go to her. She's amazing. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, I'm sure. I'm very particular. I had to put a freaking like down payment on this lady. Like, I get my hair cut. Like, that's it. Like a trim,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't dye my hair. Like, it's very, very easy. And so it was like 20 bucks, whatever. Like, it's like half what the fee was. I'm like, that's fine.
Okay.
I get there early. I go to sit down. And I said to her, I'm looking for someone for like to do my hair like for the rest of my life or whatever. Like I just don't want to keep jumping around people. I am not sure what I want right now. My hair is super long. It was after Italy. It was like down to my butt. Like it was long.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure like do I want to do longer or shorter? Like I don't know. We talked for a couple of minutes and then I could tell she was getting frustrated and she looked at me and she was like, "It's not rocket science. Do you want long hair or short hair?" And like listen, like I can take whatever kind of feedback okay, from like someone I know. I just met this lady and she was just so frustrated with me and I was just like, okay. Like I should have just left. Keep the 20
Yeah.
bucks. I don't give a shit. I should have just left. Then she's washing my hair and she's freaking digging her talons into my scalp. I'm like, oh, this is like not comfortable anymore. This is like annoying.
Yeah.
And then the entire haircut, she's just dumping her entire life on me. Her entire freaking life, dumping it, dumping it, dumping it. And I'm like, I don't know you. Like, usually it's the other way around. Like, I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be
girl,
talking to
like
this.
this is my time to trauma dump.
Yeah, yes. You're not supposed to be dumping on me.
That's
about her daughter, about
crazy.
yes, and then we get to like what I do, and then she's like, "You need to help my daughter," blah blah blah, and I was like, "Oh, well, just tell her she can fill out an application, and we can find however works best for her and work on her goals." So that's like a whole other story. What happened with that? And so she's cutting my hair, she cuts it really short, and and it was like this awkward length. Like there was some cute photos of looking back. I'm like, that was like cute hair, like when I would do it. But that just like it was just like this awkward length. I freaking hated it.
Mm.
And then she doesn't even ask me how I want my hair styled. I like to get my hair like kind of like beachy wave done because
Yeah,
like I struggle doing that. So she didn't even ask me how I wanted it, and she's already like straightening it when it's already pretty straight. I'm like, you didn't
right.
ask me how I wanted it done, you know? So then I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
That's weird. And then we go up to the counter to pay. And she was like, yeah, charge her extra because it took us longer to blow dry her hair. Bitch, what? You're charging me extra because you had to blow dry my hair? Get your
Hmm.
freaking assistant. Like, if that was like something you normally do, maybe you should say, "Hey, I need to charge you extra if you want your hair blow dried." I don't know.
Huh.
The
Yeah.
whole thing was freaking weird. And I was like, "Excuse me?" And they like were a little like, I'm like, "I'm going to ask. I don't give a shit." Paid. I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm never coming back to ever again." Then it gets better. The daughter contacts me because she wants help. I'm like, "Hey, here's my application. Like, you know, if you we can get on a phone call. Is this gonna like it's gonna cost me?" I'm like, no, the we can talk about your goals for like 15 minutes. That's totally free. Well, I can't pay for anything for my health. What do you think? Do you think I do this just for like totally free? Like it was just such a weird interaction. Like, I didn't ask your mom to cut my hair for free, did I? Like
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like your mom
like
works in the service industry.
yeah,
Like that
yeah,
what? What?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, if you don't have any kind of budget, you can't do anything. Here's my grocery cheat sheet. Well, I don't want that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, okay,
That's so
okay,
bizarre. The
yeah.
whole thing is
So
really bizarre. Like
yeah.
that's so first of all, I I've been going to the same girl for probably since I was a freshman in college or a senior in high school. The salon, it's definitely a salon policy about putting down a deposit, but I've never had to do that. Um, she's never charged me extra. Like my hair, sometimes I'm there for 6 hours because
Oh,
I have a lot of
okay.
hair. Um, like it is what I don't understand why. I have a lot of hair. She's amazing. I never question her. We have such an easy rapport. So like if she ever leaves the salon, I will try and follow her because I just like I found I found my person who like I don't have to like feel bad about. Like her basically making you feel bad about not being able to like make a decision. It's like, well, this is not helping me make a decision. Now I actually feel really
Yeah.
pressured and
Yes.
uncomfortable.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is not how it's
I
supposed to be.
Yes, I felt so pressured to make a decision on the fly about what to do with my identity. Let's be real here. Here's my
Yes. Yeah.
identity. And I was
Yeah.
just like, whatever is easier to please this lady so she'll stop yelling at me. That's basically what happened.
I would have just been like, a healthy trim. You know what? A healthy trim. Like I'm,
But like trims, okay, and we talk about like investing in your health is an investment, and I am all for. I always say buy quality, buy nice, or buy like two, three times, right? I'm all about quality,
yeah,
but if I'm going to get a haircut, it's the same price, which I understand as a trim or as a full blown haircut and style. So like if I'm gonna go get my hair done, like I want to know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like whether I got
right.
1 inch or
Yeah.
like 5 inches off, it was still like 60, $70. And I was like, what am I
Yeah.
doing? Like for an inch off?
Ugh.
I need to teach myself. Like that's where
Yeah.
that's where I have gotten down to. I just need to learn how to just freaking go and be done because I still don't know what I'm doing with my hair. It's going on a year in May. It will be a year since I got my haircut.
Yeah.
Now, mind
But like
you,
you wouldn't go into just like I most of the time, like there have been like two times in my life where I like literally like my hair was probably as long as it is and I cut it. I'll insert picture. I cut it like literally so short because I was like going through
I know.
it, and it's
Yeah.
like no, just like and like cut your hair, like whatever. So, but otherwise, I'm never going in for a crazy chop. Like I always like when I book my appointment, I'm like I need a color, I need a face frame highlights, or I need full highlights and a healthy trim. Like that's my MO. And whatever a healthy trim is to my hairstylist, I go with because right now, my hair, my healthy trim probably needs to be to here to get rid of all the dead, to clean
Mm,
it up. But then
dead, dead.
sometimes it's not as much. So like you were really trying to go in for like a major change, a rebranding, if you will.
Yeah, because I had the
Yeah.
face framing. I'll insert the picture, the one I love.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Picture.
The very first time I got it done, amazing. The
Oh,
times after that, it kept getting fucked up because that girl would
yeah.
not do the
That's
same
so
cut on each.
crazy.
I know. I literally was like, I don't understand. How many
And
times do I
it
need to
was
go
the
in?
same stylist, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
girl, I don't know what's
yeah.
in the water over there, but I'm gonna hook you up
Crazy.
with my girl. You know what? We'll just get you on the PJ every time you need to get your hair cut. I got you. What if, man, that would be so luxe of us if
I've
we had
seen
a private
people do it
jet.
on. Yeah, well, I
Well, we
can't
see people do it on
imagine.
the internet, but like that ain't
Well,
us, honey.
no, I was gonna say I've seen people travel to go get their hair cut. You
Yes.
know,
Which is
that's.
so crazy because like you have to book a trip every time you want to get your hair cut.
I mean, you know what? I think I should have done. I've been seeing this girl on TikTok, and everywhere she goes, she gets a blowout. And I was
Oh,
like, that is so fucking smart. I'm gonna do next time I go to Mexico. I'm gonna get a blowout at a I just learned this word peluqueria, peluqueria. It's a hair salon. That's what it's
hair
called.
salon. Oh,
Peluqueria, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. I was like, that would have been so fun to get a blowout in Italy. But there were some mishaps where like they just put so much stuff in it. The front in their hair is
yeah.
like, and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't know if I want to deal with that. But that'd be fun. So I think I'm gonna do that. I am
Add
getting
it
a
to the
facial.
list.
Add to the list. I am getting a facial when I go to Denver, so I'm excited about that because I haven't gotten
Oh,
one since I finally stopped going to my previous facial person. I'm like, I need a new person. Denver it is.
T. Jesus, you and your luck with like people in, I guess like the
Beauty.
beauty industry, would we call it? Wow,
Yeah.
that is crazy. But well, you know what? You're gonna find the facial love of your life in Denver, and then you're gonna be like, sis, I need to keep coming because I have to get my facials.
Well, she goes there already, so she knows
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Mm,
And I'll be back in September after. Right now, when this comes out, I'll be in Colorado, but I'll be back in September. And I usually get facials every 8 weeks, so it's been a while since
yeah.
I've gotten one.
Wow. I love that for you. You're living your best
Mhm.
life.
That's all we can do. That's
It's
all
all we
we
can
can do.
try to do.
Oh, update on Spanish learning. I've been kind of quiet about it on the gram just because, like, when you're, running a business, I like don't want to talk about all my hobbies 24/7. Like
Literally.
that's like if like Walmart on their Instagram was like new hobbies Walmart's doing, like no, they're selling their Walmart
Low
stuff.
key, I'd kind of be into that. I'm like, wait, do you guys do hobby workshops at Walmart? Like, I would be into that.
What kind would you do?
Oh man, if they had like a gardening workshop or like a sewing workshop or anything.
I would do that. So
Yeah.
true. So
Yeah.
true.
New idea. Nobody steal this. If you steal this, we know who you are.
Walmart pay us. This is sponsored by Walmart. Allegedly.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. Damn, that would be a fat bag we'd be getting.
Oh my God. You know what? I was like, okay, so back to my little Spanish update. I was like, I
Yes.
wonder if we could get them to sponsor an episode. It's called Dreaming Spanish. Love
Okay.
it. So they have free videos on YouTube, but then on their website, they have hundreds of videos ranging
Ooh.
from super beginner to like I don't know what the farthest advanced is, but farthest advanced whatever. And basically they are easy stories different like creators on the platform are making, and they enunciate the words, they talk about easy things, and then every like hundreds or so hours there's different levels. So like when you reach 500 hours of watching videos, you should be at this level of Spanish.
Oh,
So
wow.
it integrates, just like I've heard so many people that learn another language from watching soap operas because you're
Mm.
engaged, it's not just like reading a text. Now I do like to learn a traditional way and like visual and like audio. Um so I started watching them on YouTube, but they have like there's more videos available on YouTube almost than like the thingy, because if you want to get access to more, you have to pay, of course. But it's like
Yeah.
really cheap. But
Yeah.
anyway, I was watching a video on bees in Spanish, and I didn't know
On
this
what?
about bees.
Oh, bees, like
Bees.
buzz. Okay.
I knew you were gonna do that. I'm like, she's gonna do zzz. Anyway, anyway, do you know how they make honey?
Um, I have no idea. I have literally no idea. It's they something to do with maybe pollen.
Yes. So
Okay.
they're getting the nectar out of the stuff and pollen.
The
Or no,
flower?
yeah, getting the nectar out of the flower, I believe. And then they have two stomachs. Now, listen, I learned this in Spanish too, which is like really cool. But they have two stomachs. One of them is like for actually eating, and the other one just holds it. So when they go back to the hive, they find another worker bee and they throw up into the worker bee's mouth. And then they literally show a picture, and it's like a bee and a bee like projectile vomiting into another bee. I was like, "Bleh." I'm
I'm
sitting here eating.
sorry, what?
I know, and I'm like, I eat honey like every day before bed, so I was like, that's foul. And then they throw it up again, I believe, into like the honeycomb, and then they put wax over it, and then it like gets harder over time, and then we harvest bee throw up essentially.
I knew I didn't like honey for a reason. I knew it.
Isn't it crazy? I was like, wow. I'm like impressed in myself. I learned it in Spanish, but also
That's
like,
a really cool thing. Like, would I really go out of my way to like learn that on my own? No, but if you're like doing it and you're like learning a language, that's like
yeah,
that's the shit that you actually like how you learn because it's not just like stupid little scenarios like what we learned in like
yes,
Spanish class. Like it's actually
yes,
you know what? That when I like meet new people or like go to a party or go to a bar, my
uh-huh.
friend always does this like, would you rather fight 10 duck-sized bears or one bear-sized duck? Bear-sized. Oh no,
Yeah,
10
yeah.
bear-sized bear? Wait, bear? Oh, one bear-sized duck. Okay, I said it right. So
You're,
she
you're
always
right.
like says these things and like gets people's reactions and then she'll always throw out like you
Oh,
know how like honey's made and like she does it in such a way where like she's so confident and cute girl. So I'm gonna share this with her because like I know she'll put it in her back pocket and it's just like
oh, cool.
she just like is so like fun and fresh that way because like me trying to say that I would have just fucked it up. Like I was like thinking in my head like no there can't be too much thinking. Okay, that's not like cute and confident girl, but I
No,
love it for her. So I'm gonna share that with her because she's also a bee
yeah.
enthusiast. Love it. So
Oh, what's her name?
yeah, Michaela, shout out.
Well, that's two numbered. What is your name? Interesting. Okay, cool. Shout out to Michaela and the beads. But yeah, so I was like, oh, interesting. And then I learned about Cuba this morning. It was like
Ah,
eight interesting things about Cuba. They don't have any grocery stores. And then
um,
and then the stores they have like one thing. So like if you were to get
oh.
toilet paper, it's like one brand. They don't have oil, they don't have rice, they don't have there was something else. Like
So is it
beans, they
like
have
all little markets?
I think so, but there's like
Yeah,
nothing in them. Like it's
right.
communist, like they're,
Yeah.
so it's like but if you I was on TikTok, this is what I learned on TikTok. They have like people that go travel there obviously for
Mm,
vacationing,
mm.
and the restaurants, it's like very bare bones of what you can get. You'll see like the restaurant and you're ordering like, a an omelet with like cheese and like 3 eggs, and that's like the amount of food they get like for the month from the government. Mhm.
Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
so but I was like, this is like such a shout out to Dreaming Spanish. I'm like, I am learning.
Yeah. Wait, that's like actually so iconic because when I told you this before, but like in high school and middle school and elementary school, when we were learning Spanish, nothing stuck personally
Hmm.
for me because I wasn't being taught in a way that was, that I was receptive to. But if I had learned in probably this type of format, I could see myself going farther. That's iconic. Amazing.
It's never too late. Never too
It's never
late.
too late, but you know what? My type A brain like wants to be good right away. And so I have to
Oh,
like,
that's why I gave up so many times.
yeah, I have to drop my ego and just like if I want to do it, just like
Hmm.
be okay with sucking.
Hmm. Yep.
Shout
100%.
out. Did you have anything else you wanted to sprinkle in before we talk about our topic?
Oh, interesting. Just talking about, and we've both seen this in prospective clients and even clients we've worked with and converted them to the dark side, so to speak. But it always makes me chuckle when people, I was walking below deck, of course, and so many, the primaries, there's like the primary and like the
Yeah.
guests of the
Yep.
primary. I don't like vegetables. Like two, three things run through my mind. It's like one, like you the like most obvious to start is like so you eat like a child. Like not everyone likes vegetables all the time. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like sometimes like I'm really not in the mood for it. But like I eat vegetables all day long because
Yeah.
I like when I'm eating. And
Yep.
like two, it's kind of like if you're finding your only like source of like fun and enjoyment like from food, like you probably won't like vegetables then because like you want
Right.
something like razzle dazzle every single time.
Yeah.
And like three, what is three? Three, you probably don't like how they're cooked. AKA, like
Yes.
I hate carrot sticks. I don't like carrot sticks. Like I can't
Like
like
just
anything
raw
like
carrots.
yeah, I don't like raw carrots like
Oh.
or raw celery. But
Oh,
if you
not raw
put
celery.
celery in soup or celery in a stew, I will eat
Okay, I'll
like
eat it then. Yeah.
I just love it when it's cooked and has flavor. So good. If you do shaved carrots in a salad, I would eat a whole thing of that. If you do like hash brown style carrots, I will eat them all like made with olive oil and salt, pepper, or, all
Yeah, the works. The
yeah,
works.
the words. But like I freaking hate raw carrots. So
Mm.
it's just the way that you're preparing something. And I'm like, how many
Yes.
times like when you hear that, it's not like what you're like, like I gotta convert
Yeah,
this person.
honestly, because what I can understand in a way that for some people it's and for like some kids you find this as, you're parenting and learning alongside of them. It's like a texture thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that is unpredictable. Like so for kids it's like, chicken nuggets taste the same every time, but a piece of broccoli might not taste the same every time. So for
Mm.
kids, I can kind of understand that, especially like maybe neurodivergent kids, and into adulthood. But for a lot of adults, it's just either laziness, quite honestly, or it's
Mm-hmm.
how you're preparing it because you think it has to be a
Mm-hmm.
certain way. Steamed
Mm-hmm.
broccoli, I'll fucking fight you. I hate steamed broccoli. It's
Oh,
disgusting.
so good. See, I love it. I could eat broccoli any time of the day.
Oh, I could eat broccoli 10 different ways, but we were out to dinner the other night and the only gluten-free side that I could have was steamed broccoli. So I got two orders of
How
steamed
is that
broccoli
possible?
because it wasn't like a really like gluten-friendly place.
I
Like
know, but just like thinking, go ahead.
maybe the other one was mashed potatoes. But
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm in a dieting phase. I was having a burger, like I was having a cheeseburger. So I was like, I don't want the extra fats. I'll go double-sided broccoli. Not my
Mm-hmm.
favorite thing, but I was like, I'm making a smart choice because I want some
Mm-hmm.
fiber. I want the veg. It's really all I can eat without
Mm-hmm.
getting sick. But
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate steamed broccoli. Roasted broccoli with some good mineral salt, some a little bit of olive
Mm,
oil, or you razzle
dumb.
dazzle it, whatever you're putting on it. I could literally eat the entire
Yeah,
thing that I'm making. So I
yeah,
totally agree. It's about how you prepare it. Just like if
yes.
you cook dry ass chicken, ugh, immediate
Uh,
ick. I'm not going to
yeah,
want to eat chicken if it's like that. So I
yeah,
think it's, talking to our clients, and it's like, you don't have to be fucking master chef, but like put a little TLC into what you're eating because you're going to like it more.
yeah. And it's just like very like I think, we see this all the time, like the first week or couple first
Mm-hmm.
month of like starting to transition from eating more processed things, from eating and processed meaning like takeout.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
of like lean cuisine, like things that are prepared for
Yeah.
you,
Mm-hmm.
pre-prepared for you, like that kind of stuff.
Pre-made. Yeah.
Yes, pre-made, and then switching to like you're just buying whole ingredients like
Yeah.
carrots,
Yeah.
broccoli, whatever, salad type of thing. It's an adjustment period because maybe you're not used to cooking as much. Maybe you're not
Yep.
used to cleaning, cutting, um, preparing, all that stuff.
Yep.
So like at first it may seem like a lot, but then once you get
Yeah.
used to it, like, oh, salt, pepper, garlic, onion
Yeah.
powder, like they are my friends. Like I put, and Joel gets like he thinks I'm so gross for this, but I make my own everything but the bagel seasoning just because like I kind of like
Yeah.
not having any
And
fillers or
it's
any.
literally so expensive. Like,
Yeah, I can tell you why it's so expensive. Two of the things in there are the most expensive parts: the chopped onion or chopped garlic,
yep,
and then
I can
the
see it.
poppy seeds.
Poppy
That's
seeds.
what makes it the most expensive because when I buy the ingredients by themselves, poppy seeds, they run out the quickest, but they add this tang to it. When I don't have them,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell. But
Mm-hmm.
they are more expensive. But yeah, I love making it myself. And then sometimes when I'm making it, it's like my oatmeal, like chocolate protein oatmeal, and then I'll put a fruit on there, and then I will down it with all the ingredients, but like put some extra onion and garlic. And he's like, "That's so gross." I'm like, but I love it that way,
With
right?
your
I love
chocolate?
well, it's chocolate oat protein.
Yeah, but onion and chocolate?
It's so good. I can't.
All right, I'll try it. You know what?
Listen,
Down
so
down
good.
to try it. Down to try it because one time I had these, it was like bacon, like cooked pieces of bacon,
Uh-huh.
and half of it was dipped in
Uh-huh.
chocolate with sea salt.
Well, okay. Chocolate and sea salt is like yin
But
and
with the
yang.
bacon, amazing.
Oh,
So I will try that. I'm gonna try it. All right, you've
okay.
converted.
It's good. I love it. I put garlic and onion on
Of
everything.
course.
Of course. But long story short, it's just about being open to trying something
Yep.
because I hated, I used to vomit, I think out of like anxiety and also like I didn't want to eat it, carrots when I was little.
Yeah.
Hated them. Now I love carrots. I don't like them raw, but I like raw, like thick
Just
cut, but I
out of the
like them,
bag.
yeah, shaved, or I like them cooked, whatever. Like
Yeah.
you just have to
Yeah.
find something, and you might just like it in a different form. But being the adults, like I don't like veggies. Like no, we gotta move past that. We gotta move past that.
Yeah. Yeah. Peace and love, grow up. Like and it may take you time to figure out what you like and how to prepare it. Like you said, when you're doing anything new, there's a learning curve, and you have to be okay with that. If you are like not okay with the learning curve, you're not going to move forward. So you're
With
allowed to,
anything.
with any, literally anything. You with Spanish, um, people trying to cook new veggies, me with, I don't know, I can't think of a thing that I'm doing.
Leaving the house.
Yeah, shout out, shout out. But it's just a part of the process. And I'll be honest, I just don't get how people don't like vegetables, because if you make food taste good, I don't care what the fuck it is. I will eat it. I will eat it. What I won't, well, what I will eat, but I fucking hate it, is a steamed vegetable. So that's where like I can relate to those people, because I'm like, just
Yeah.
steamed vegetables might not be your thing. Cooking it, roasting it might not be your thing. Figure out what is your thing and then stick with it. And then
Yeah.
bing, bang,
Yeah.
boom, you're good to go.
Got a lot of accents on here.
Bob's your uncle. I know. And you know what? I was talking with two of my girlfriends the other day. I sent you a screenshot. We were literally on the phone for 3.5 hours because what is life? It's like after work, I'm in the car. They're doing different things. We're like three-way calling, how iconic in early 2000s of us. And they were like, we talk like you have your own Alleyisms, and we just talk like you because it's iconic and you just say weird things. And I'm like, for sure. Like I say, that's so embarrassing. I say
Hmm.
garbage. I say
I say
aircon
garbage.
for AC. Yeah, like anything. And I'm always flowing in and out of my weirdo accents. And you know what? They do it too. So I'm like, at least I'm rubbing off on some people.
Yeah, I think that's just like natural if you have a personality, you know?
Yeah.
Some people are just like,
If you have a personality, maybe some of you don't, but it's just like,
some people don't.
low key, it's like you are a wet blanket. Not you,
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh,
operative
I
you.
know.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. No, I
you are a
know I'm
wet
not a wet
blanket and
blanket.
you suck. And you're like, okay.
Okay. Crazy bitch.
But now
Uh,
getting into the topic, because this was actually, you sent me a post and instantly I was like tingling. I was like, this is a good thing to talk about. Um, Maddie sent me a post about like, so the premise was like, do you basically need to eat gluten free? Because
mhm.
there are so many people online right now talking about healing their bodies, healing their hormones, going through autoimmune diseases and that sort of stuff. Like right now, there is a lot of trends of like healing your gut and healing your body. For some reason that's just kind of where we're swinging, and there's always trends in
Mhm.
the health and wellness industry, but going gluten free or being gluten free is such a hot trend, and
Mhm.
to me it's actually kind of crazy and weird. So in your healing of your autoimmune disease, you eat gluten free as well, correct?
Yes, and this is probably
Yep.
going on maybe like 4 or 5 years now. I can't
Yep.
remember like when I
Yep.
started. However, if I have bread, I will
Hmm.
not have the same gluten. I will not have the same consequences as you,
Mm.
where I notice things right away.
Yep.
Um, I noticed it the most with my period, and I was getting really, really, really bad cramps.
Yep.
Now, it might have been coincidental because I had gotten on the copper IUD, which is
Sure.
notorious for raising the symptoms of things that you might have already had, or just adding new, as in like
Yep.
really, really, really heavy periods, very, very painful. Like I was on the floor, I felt like someone was like yanking my uterus,
Yeah.
like so painful. Now I don't have those at all, which is besides for a little bit that I had with the antimicrobials that I'm on, but literally like no pain at all compared to what I used to have. But I don't
Yeah.
have any reactions like you do. So
Right.
for me, it's more of a something I notice, alleviate other symptoms, and
Right.
reduce inflammation from an autoimmune disease standpoint.
Yeah. And I like how you're talking about it in a way of it's relieving symptoms, and I'm not doing it for any other reason but then just to relieve symptoms, because when that discomfort is so high, when you're super inflamed, when your periods are really bad, that's an obvious sign that like, okay, this is not exactly right. And so I love that food can be really healing in that way, like removing certain foods or introducing different things. And for myself, I think I was in ninth grade or 10th grade. And I started having really, really bad stomach pains all the time. I was like legit always on the toilet. I was always nauseous. I got so many like yeast infections. Like I was like
Mm,
raging. I was so uncomfortable all the time. Um and I started getting ulcers and I would like vomit blood or like poop blood.
oh,
And so I went to the doctor. We went through, different bunch of different, like, we did colonoscopies a couple times, endoscopies a couple times. I was like, this is not super cute for like a high school gal. I'm like, this is like embarrassing. Like I was doing like colonoscopy prep one time, and my mom's like, oh, you technically can go to school. Like I'll just like take you out halfway. I was like, no. She's like, the laxatives, like, they're not going to work until like later in the day. And I'm like, because this was like my third time doing it. And I was like,
Yeah,
no, no, literally, you are crazy. I was like, I'm not going, mom. And she's like,
I
you've
wouldn't
missed a
go
lot of
either.
school. No, because you have to drink so much. You're uncomfortable. You're getting bloated. And then all of a sudden, your asshole opens up. And it's just like, like, you're just like, because you're taking a shit ton of laxatives. I was like a kid, so like you didn't drink the stuff in the glass, whatever that is, but I would do like a whole bottle of Miralax and laxatives. And it's horrible,
Oh my God.
horrible. And you can't eat. So, you're going through all of these things. And so those were the days I was like, Mom, I've missed a lot of school. That's fine. Michaela, one of my bestie gals, I went to high school with her. She'll bring my homework over. Like, I'm not going. This is embarrassing. And also I would have to wear skirt and tights. I was like, what if I need to go to the bathroom? I'm like, this is a disaster. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of, different procedures and that sort of stuff. And at the time, I was never like testing positive for celiac disease. Like it was not coming up. It was like always this inconclusive stuff, but I didn't have Crohn's. I didn't have any other, I forget what else they like were looking into. So my doctor at the time was like, well, we can retest and like do different things like in a year or two, but just like start following like a gluten-free diet because like I know where this is going. It's not going to get better. She's just not showing signs right now, even though my symptoms were terrible. As soon as I cut out gluten, like 3, 4, 5 months later, I just started to feel so much better. And like
Mhm.
it sucked because like as like again a young I guess young adult, young adolescent, whatever, you have to be so careful and like what
Yeah.
you're having, what you're drinking at school. And it's like I would get really lazy sometimes and just be like, oh, I don't fucking care. I just want a cookie at school. Like I'm fucking bullshit. I want to like go into the cafeteria where
Mhm.
the lady who cooked all the food, she made the fucking best cookies. So I would eat it. And I'd be fucking in the nurse's office, like dying. So when I see people, and I would even hear people in high school cutting out gluten as a diet tactic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you experienced that like in the wild, meaning like your like a personal life or like in school, did you ever hear this? Or clients that come to you saying like maybe they should cut out gluten. Like what is the take for gluten and weight loss?
Yeah, I've had several clients come to me, and I was looking up some of the books when you look up like gluten free, like Wheat
Mm-hmm.
Belly or Grain Brain, the Gluten Free Bible. And it's like, you know, typically I think the people that use gluten free as a dieting tool are typically like older 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
because they grew up with always demonizing a macronutrient or a certain thing like sugar, like fat, like protein, going through those stages. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, what's next? What can I try? And just like, you watch a documentary and it really leans one side versus the other, or you read a book and it's the same thing. The health industry does such a good job at demonizing things and saying, this is the root cause. This is why you're sick. This is why you gain fat. And it does suck as people that use gluten free, me and you, as tools to help alleviate problems. It works better for our body. We know how hard it is. Realistically, it's not that hard now to be gluten free after all of these years, but
Right.
transitioning was hard.
And back
But
in the day, there were
yes, I mean,
like,
I mean,
how
I
old am
had
I?
options, but
I'll be 27 in like less than a month. So I think I was like 14 or 15 when I first started. There was nothing. The one brand was like Glutino, and that shit is so gross. Like it does not taste good. Even like to this day, if I see it in the store, I'm like, you suck. Like it tastes like shit. The ingredients are not good.
mhm,
So even it was, and I would get real pressed at the time because I would literally hear girls in high school being like, "Oh, I'll just go gluten free. Like you'll lose weight." And I'm like, bitch, eat the food that you can because this shit is
Yeah.
gross and it sucks. Nowadays, there are more
Yeah.
options, but still, it's like there's a transition period. Don't do it if you don't have to.
Yeah, and it's just like I personally don't want my clients to feel limited in the stuff they can eat because it's
Right.
the long story of don't think about a white elephant. You're going to think about a white elephant. So like
Yeah.
why would we take away something that is good? Like having carbs is really good for your body. If you are
Yep.
suffering from things like Ali, which is like you're pretty much you're not diagnosed with celiacs, correct?
No, I am. It like
Oh,
at the
you are.
time when I started, when I was like 14, because I was nothing was coming up conclusive. It was all inconclusive. She was like, just start following it and then we'll re kind of test. And like after 5 months, I was feeling better. So at my like yearly visit with my GI doctor, it finally started to show up. But my mom was like, well, I'm so glad we just listened to her because imagine you could have been like suffering for another year. So finally, which is kind of like just also like in this little side, listen to your body because sometimes the tests are not showing you in that exact moment. But if you listen to your body
Mhm.
and what feels good,
Mhm.
that's the best answer you can truly get.
Mhm. I agree. 100% agree. I mean, how many people, side note, another side story, how many times did, what?
I just went like side store boop boop.
Oh, I didn't look and then I see what's happening. Um, how many times they're like, you have Lyme disease, you have Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And side note, they misdiagnosed me anyway with psoriatic arthritis when this bitch doesn't even have psoriasis. So we'll go down that rabbit hole
Oh,
soon. I know. But like, I was like, I don't have Lyme. Like, I can't even leave the house. I can't walk. Tell me how I got Lyme. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
that's so yeah, it can be rough when you are feeling a specific way about your body and people are like, I'm not sure, like, bitch,
Ugh,
try feeling what I'm feeling and then let me know.
right. And I think
Um,
this is why, we're passionate about this topic because
yeah,
cutting out a food that is not necessary, that is not affecting you to lose weight, it's a red flag because we have felt the symptoms. We have also felt the relief of cutting out gluten, and it's just not needed for everybody. Like it might be doing more damage to cut that out because now you're associating with gluten as, oh, this is going to make me gain weight. This is bad. I
yeah,
can't have
yeah,
this. When in reality, that was like never your like cross to bear. Like that was not
yeah,
your issue. That wasn't
yeah.
affecting your health. Um, so you say you're thinking clients or like people like over 40, they already have a bad relationship with like carbs, so they're thinking, okay, cut the
Yeah.
gluten out. When a client comes to you, like have you experienced that, like talking them through that and trying to rationalize why they might be feeling that's the right approach?
Yeah, I actually had this with a current client and she is doing amazing right now too. Is down like I don't know, 12, 13 pounds. We didn't even touch a diet phase yet.
Ugh,
And
that's the
she
best.
has I know, right? She has why am I forgetting? Hypothyroidism, I believe. And so her doctor's like, just limit your carbs. Guys, your thyroid needs carbs. Your thyroid,
Mm-hmm.
let me repeat this, your thyroid needs carbs to function better. There are so many reasons to why our thyroid gets impacted, which usually have to do with the liver. So it's not a thyroid problem, it's more of a liver problem, but that's a whole nother story. But I was like, okay, we're gonna eat some more carbs, but we're gonna get to them
Yeah.
slowly. So we had to work through that fear of her being afraid of carbs and slowly increase them over time. And
Yep.
I just increased her carbs to like 175 now. And she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you were at like 160. We're gonna be okay.
Right. Isn't it funny? Like the slightest increase, and like
Yeah.
even for myself, like if my macros, like when I'm not in a dieting phase, if my macros get slightly bumped, I'm like, fuck yeah. And it's like it's 15 grams, but it's like this is amazing.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't think back when I was always afraid to eat more food. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like 15. What is 15? I can't do mental math. 15 grams of carbs. I
15
can't do it.
times, well, 15
Four.
times
60,
4, 60.
60, 60. That's it. It's
Oh,
60
yes, it is.
calories.
Yep.
Yes. So we're like,
Yes.
oh my God, 60 you know, we've all been there. We've talked to people
Yep.
that get nervous about that. So, you know, it is slowly adding them in over time. And again, meeting the client where they are. And that's
Yep.
why I personally believe online TDE calculators that give you like, this is how many calories you should be burning, or this is how many calories you should consume, are inaccurate because they're not taking in your previous health history, right?
Yeah.
If you have a thyroid problem, there's nowhere to put that on the thing.
No.
Like, I
No.
have thyroid problem, I have an A1C issue, I have a blood sugar regulation issue. There's not. And they're
I
also not
have
putting
been
in,
chronically dieting for the last 10 years.
yes, 100%. So I'll have people come to me and be like, my
Yeah.
information, and it told me I need 1,800 calories, but I'm eating like 1,200. Should I jump to 18? No,
Nope.
because that would gain weight because it's way too fast for your body. It's a whole other conversation. But this is why it's just important that
Yeah.
we're not using a specific food. We're not using a tool like gluten free as something we're going to see weight loss, because odds are you probably
Yeah.
won't. And if you do see any weight loss, I bet you it's because you are forced now to eat more whole foods than you
Yeah.
were previously eating, because maybe you're not reaching for your favorite. I always think back, we ate a lot of like Costco had, I don't know if they have them anymore, the best huge muffins. It was like this huge platter of muffins, and
Oh,
there was like
girl.
four in each.
They got the
They were
muffins.
so fucking good. It was like they were huge, like double chocolate, triple chocolate,
Yeah.
blueberry. I
Oh,
would pound them, pound
of
them.
course. Of course.
That you're gluten free, you're not eating that kind of stuff. So I could be like,
Yep.
sure, you might see some weight loss, but it's not because you took out gluten. It's because you took out low nutrient, low nutrient dense food, high calorically dense food, and you switched it out for more whole foods. That's
Yeah.
typically.
And what I would often find is if you go into the grocery store, gluten-free stuff is like could be $10 for a loaf of gluten-free bread. That's a
Yeah.
lot of money versus you could get a quality sourdough loaf or a whole grain or a wheat bread, and maybe it's going to run you $3 to $4, right? Inflation, people. So
Mhm.
it might be more. I don't really know. I don't look at those because I don't buy that food. We're a gluten-free
Yeah.
household. Poor James. He does not eat gluten free, but if I'm cooking pasta and I'm not cooking two different types of pasta, he's getting bonza pasta. If
Mhm.
I'm making, I don't even like most of the stuff. If I'm rice is gluten free, so like he's doing fine. Don't worry, people. But $10 for for a loaf of gluten free bread, if you don't need it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna cut out gluten for weight loss. Okay, well, that's kind of expensive bread, so I just won't eat bread. Like, I'll just substitute with something else. You might find
Mhm.
you're just not eating as many carbs as well. And that's really
Yes.
what it comes down to. I remember, in high school, these girls weren't really doing a gluten-free diet, but it was basically them just eating less carbs. And like you
Yep.
said, replacing it with potentially more whole food sources or still eating like shit, but just not eating as much carbs and filling
Yeah.
that with like other stuff. So it, I talk a lot about with clients like macro counting is a tool. Paying attention to your calories is a tool. Portion control is a tool. Going
Yeah.
gluten free for weight loss is not a tool.
Yeah.
And
It's a tool if it's needed, but it's not
but
needed
not
for
for
everyone.
not for weight loss. If we're thinking
Yeah.
strictly about weight loss, like for your health, if you're having problems, you cut out gluten, you cut out dairy because you need it. You might lose weight because you
Mhm.
lose inflammation, like your inflammation's down, your
Mhm.
body's vibing, it's doing better.
Mhm.
But as a tool, when we're thinking about the categories of tools we have for weight loss, you very likely 99.9% of the time you don't need to cut out certain food groups. Um and like I think it's really glorified right now with like the clean girl
Yeah.
aesthetic, like healthy Pilates girls. Like I feel like those go hand in hand with like being
Mhm.
gluten free. And low key, it's just giving me like this is a trend vibe.
It's it's a trend, just like you said, Pilates, and we should definitely talk about Pilates. What is I have all these baby hairs, they're just everywhere from my oiling. You can I don't know, like makes my forehead look dirty.
No, I literally
But
couldn't even see it. You're fine.
oh, I can feel it. Okay.
Yeah.
But we should talk about Pilates at some point too. That's another good
Yeah.
conversation. But long story short, do not use gluten free as a way that you think you're going to lose weight because it's not going to work. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not like we said. It's to treat symptoms, alleviate inflammation, help
Yep.
with the autoimmune disease. You could try to see if it helps with your stomach if you're having issues, but
Yeah.
it's not the fix that you're looking for.
Right.
If you want a grocery cheat sheet where you're like, I need just to know like what are good options, I will link mine below. I give it to all my clients. They love it. It's super simple. It shows you what foods are good. And side note, like all foods are good. I'm very big on an alley too,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like
Yeah.
not demonizing things. So
Right. And when we go down the rabbit hole of certain cutting out certain foods being a trend, living health and wellness a certain way, we ingrain deeper into our brains this is a bad food, this is unhealthy. Because unfortunately, for our demographic listening to this podcast, you grew up in the era of Weight Watchers and 17 magazine
mhm,
and
mhm,
excuse me, having all of these ideas around food put
mhm,
onto you, right? It was
mhm,
never your decision to really feel a certain way. It was just put on you because
mhm.
you would see Atkins, you would see Weight Watchers, you'd see Jenny Craig like on the commercials
Oh my
all
God. I
over
remember
the place,
those.
right? Like all over the place. So from a young age, you are just being bombarded with thoughts and opinions that contradict each other about food. And you grow up thinking lean cuisine is probably a good option because Jenny Craig was prepackaged meals and lean cuisine, it has lean in the name. That's great for my goals. When in reality, we need to sort of erase everything. And that's the work that Maddie and I do with our clients. It's not the easiest, but we work with women to rewrite like what a healthy and balanced relationship with food looks like. And when we're talking about cutting out gluten, cutting out dairy, cutting out all of these sorts of like sugars and can't eat this fruit, can't eat carrots because it has too much sugar, that's when we get into the zone of we need to take a step back because
Mhm.
carrots are not your problem. Carrots are not your problem. Your
No.
problem is that you're viewing food as innately good or innately bad. And what I like to visualize with my clients is food is not on a balance, but it's on a sliding scale. And so some
Mhm,
food is like very nutrient dense and then less nutrient dense. But it doesn't
mhm,
mean that one holds more value over the other because I view it as like if you can't enjoy those foods that like light up your soul,
mhm,
then we're doing something wrong. Because
mhm.
if I'm looking at the other day for James's birthday, I made him a cake. Again, it wasn't gluten free because he deserves his birthday to be a regular, not gluten free dinner. So I made
Uh-huh.
him chicken parm. I made him a chocolate cake, the works. I couldn't eat it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the store and get myself a gluten free coffee cake donut. It was the
Ooh.
best thing in the world. It just happened to be vegan because a lot of the times the allergens, they just like meet in the middle and they're like, here's a product. But if I were living a life where I was not eating sugars and couldn't have any processed foods, I would have not as a fulfilling life, because I would be sitting there at that table feeling really left out, feeling bad for myself, when in reality, we don't have to do that. There's no
Mhm.
need to do that. Even in a dieting phase, I woke up the next day with a new low. So you tell me we can't eat donuts and lose weight? Give me the
It
data.
reminds literally, it reminds me of this post I saw on Facebook, and it was like someone's birthday, and it's like, I had
Oh,
3 bites of this cake. You know, we talked about this before. And if you want to
yeah,
have only 3 bites, like only have 3 bites. But
sure.
to me, I got the vibe of like, I'm so much portion control. I'm only allotting myself this, you know. Like on my birthday, I had cake. I think I talked about it. We had a cheesecake, and it was the worst cheesecake we've ever had in our life. It was so sour. We were like, should it be this sour?
Was it like, you're like, is this a bad?
I know. I was Googling, like, why is my cheesecake sour? And it has something to do with like them beating it and it not being like
I think it
fully,
probably gets too much air
I can't remember. Anyway, it
because
was
I know that
terrible. But like,
happens with mozzarella. Side
oh,
note.
interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So, you know, it's being able to have those foods and incorporate them. And you know, I even on the grocery cheat sheet I give like directions on how to use it. And I put like, this is not the end all be all list.
Mm,
Looking at this, these are the only foods you can have. No, we don't
yeah.
operate that way, because
Yeah.
that's not real life. Because what you don't want to do is be like, I can only eat these foods on this list. And then you go out to dinner for a celebratory thing. Like, we're celebrating Mother's Day this weekend. It's the last weekend of April right now. And we're going to probably our favorite, like Turkish, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean restaurant. And there's going to be foods on there that are not on the list, right? What would I do, right? If I
Mm,
operate on I can only eat these foods, I probably would not go, or I'd be really
yeah.
upset with myself and call myself terrible, bad, whatever. Give myself a moral stamp of disapproval for eating
Yeah.
foods that are not on that list. So that's why we
Yep.
don't operate that way, because then you're not making yourself feel bad for something that you should not be making yourself feel bad about.
Right. And I love that sentiment because more often than not, if you do operate on a diet plan that has a approved food list, right?
Mhm.
Which a lot
Yeah.
of diets out there do, right? Big companies don't give a shit about you. They want their product, their system to get results. And
Mhm.
that's all they care about. And they'll have approved food lists. But you're going out to your favorite restaurant. Some of the stuff is on the approved food list, but what if it says no oils? Well, then you're immediately screwed. So you sit at the
Mhm.
table, you feel, fuck, once again, I have fallen off track. Once again, I have failed. That does nothing for your confidence. That does
Mhm.
nothing to help you. It just worsens the issue versus if you can look at food as a whole and you can look at that plate and you're like, all right, it's probably a little bit higher calorie, but I've got some protein, I've got some veggies, which I know has some fiber, and there's carbs. Like if you can look at your plate and see, okay, this is actually balanced. It might be higher calorie because I'm not exactly sure what's in it, but I know this is balanced and it's one meal. And my weight might be a little bit up tomorrow because maybe there's more sodium or maybe I had some wine. But I know ultimately that this one meal is not going to undo all of my progress. If we can get you to
Mhm.
that place where you are looking at food as food and it's not this emotional experience, that that is the goal because you didn't screw up. You didn't fall off track by going out to dinner. You should be able to do that. And if you can't,
Yeah.
then that's where we come along and that's where we really work through that because I'm sure you can relate to feeling like going out to dinner and not knowing what to order or
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
bad if you did
Yeah.
order the quote unquote wrong thing, right?
Yep. Yep. Many, many, many a times where it was like I felt so guilty.
Yeah.
I picked the most bland thing because that's all I would allow myself. And
Yeah.
now I very much operate like whatever I'm feeling at the moment. Like,
Yes.
I'm not, and I will adjust the day as I really need to. If I need to adjust it, like I know when we go to Alahans this weekend, like hoping they have lamb kebabs. And last time when we went for Easter, they were out by 11:30 a.m. Sunday. They were out of lamb kebabs. And I was so sad because they're really good, apparently. So I know I'm ordering that. Protein, higher fat. I'm not like worried about the rest of the day. I'm like, I would
Yep.
just eat kind of like how I normally do. And I'm not like worried about it right now. And if they don't have that,
Right.
I'll have something else that I'm craving. But since I'm not operating from good or bad, yes or no, it's not like I'm gonna have that meal and be like, well, the rest of the day, whatever, who cares now? Just eat
Right.
whatever because it doesn't
Might as
matter,
well
right?
just fuck it up because I screwed up
Yes.
here.
Now it's
And I love
continue
that
screwing up
analogy.
more.
I love the analogy of like if you got a flat tire on one tire, would you go around and stab the other three tires? No, because that would
Yep.
be fucking crazy. That makes zero sense. Try and look at your food decisions the same way, right? You could fall face first into a chocolate cake and maybe you have more than you wanted to, but then you're like, okay, maybe I had a little bit of chocolate cake. You know what? Maybe that was a little too much. But now you can go the rest of your day and just say, all right, I'm going to make sure, I've got some fruit and veggies. I'm going to make sure I'm getting
Hmm.
some protein. It won't be
Hmm.
a perfect day, but that's not our goal. The goal is to really develop a better relationship with your food and also get you to your goal, but to like lose fat in a healthy way, to build muscle in a healthy way, to be in this ideal place of health that like everybody has that own version. It starts a lot of the times with that relationship with food and making it not so black and white. We talk about this a lot. We're nuanced as coaches, and your nutrition is not black and white. It is very nuanced.
Yeah. No, it is. And the more that you work on that relationship with food, you're going to reach your goals, not only reach them faster, but maintain them a lot
Yep.
easier. I mean, I
Yep.
will say this till I'm blue in the face. You can reach any goal you want with any strict thing, but if you have not mastered how to work through a slip up or work through when things get really busy or things get really tough mentally or you just feel like you're constantly falling over yourself. If you have not mastered that, you will never maintain your results because something else will always come into your life that's
Yep.
unplanned for. You don't know how to respond to it, but if you learn how to do that when you're under stress and work through those challenges, that's how you maintain your results. Not with just with
Yes.
a strict method telling you what to do. It's learning how to deal in the tough times because they're coming. They're always
They're
a coming.
coming. And to really focus on what you said, it's learning, right? You can
Mhm,
follow a diet plan blindly and see results,
mhm.
but have you learned anything,
Probably not.
right? No,
Yeah.
you haven't because you're going to gain the
Yeah.
weight back. 10
Yeah.
out of 10. But the learning component is where we focus on, and that's like our powerhouse. And it's so true. Nobody wants to gain the weight back. You've worked hard, you followed a strict ass plan. You're like, fuck, I have worked so hard to get here and I feel good. Nobody intends to gain the weight back, but you find yourself doing it because
Mhm,
we go back to that point of I didn't actually learn anything about my nutrition. I just cut out these foods and I ate less.
mhm,
And that doesn't actually solve a problem. And going off of what you said about like life being busy or stress or shit coming up, that is one thing that I work with my clients and myself on because I am managing anxiety every single day. Some days it's not as bad, some days it's pretty bad. But I've been in a position where I gained 30 pounds very fucking quickly because my anxiety was not so well managed. And you're going to have those moments in your life. Like sometimes your mental health is going to be in a bad place, but it's figuring out how to manage that and then plan alongside what health and fitness looks like for you. Before
mhm,
my agoraphobia, I could work out at the gym 5 days a week. I would hit my steps, no ifs, ands, or buts. My macros was being zeroed out. And for me at that point in time, that wasn't restrictive. That wasn't too intense. I liked it. My type A brain thrived. I was probably in the best shape of my life because I was okay with being intense, but I still drank. I still had like fun foods. I made it work, but I could be intense. post agoraphobia, that is not going to work for me. That is going to make my system be way too flared up. That's a lot of pressure on a body that's already experiencing a lot of pressure. So
Mhm.
I adjusted it. I made a plan make sense for my lifestyle. And I don't fall off track. I don't have days that feel irreparable. Like I don't do damage, right? I might have a bad day where the anxiety is a little bit higher. So maybe we don't work out today, but we go for a walk, we hit our steps, we make sure we put food in our body, and we don't have caffeine. Like I now have a plan and I learned how to do it. I didn't just follow something blindly. Um, and that's a huge part of it. It goes back to your food, it goes back to understanding your capacity, what your workouts are going to look like. It's not just cut out gluten, cut out sugar, and you'll get to your goal.
Yeah.
Because you can do that and you'll lose weight. But what happens when you want to eat gluten again? You're going to a friend's
Exactly.
wedding. You're going to a boat trip. You're going through a fucking stressful time. You're going to reach for
Yep.
those foods because you
Yep.
haven't learned anything about
And then
stress management or food in general. You haven't learned anything. And this is not trying to come down on you hard, but it's to really realize and understand that it's not about cutting out of food. It goes deeper if you want to be successful long term.
I totally agree with that. And I think it, and you can ask someone who's done these things when they gain the weight back, what do they do after that? They go right
Mm,
back. Oh, I'm just
mm-hmm.
gonna go back. How many times have you heard that? I'm just gonna go back to what I did like 5 years ago when I was like 20 years old and I
Yep.
would do 10, 15,000 steps. I'd run, I would cut this, would cut that out. And that's how I lost the weight before. Like it's not gonna work this time because you were totally different in your lifestyle, your age, your body, your health. It's not going to be the same. So no wonder those same antics don't work this time around. And I think people, just think, oh, well, that worked before. So I'm going to go back to that.
Yep.
Well, if it worked before, why do you have to restart?
Yep. Yeah. Yes. 100%. 100%. If it worked before, why are you back at the starting point? And
Hmm.
that's a question I do like to reflect off people because that is where they get to kind of see, oh shit, I didn't think about it like that. Like I just was kind of turning a blind eye because I
Hmm.
know it doesn't actually work long term, but I know it'll work to have me looking hot and feeling good for my friend's wedding or for the summer. And then after the summer, whatever, I'll gain the weight and I'll deal with it next summer. And
Yeah.
truly,
The
truly,
reality is probably a lot of people that think that way, which is crazy.
because you
Like,
go into the
when,
winter and you put on a sweater and you can hide
yeah.
in your clothes.
Hmm.
That's how I
But
felt
like, to me, it's like, uh,
when I gained, like,
yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. This was the crazy experience of most crazy experience of my life. I remember around my birthday's May 12th. I was away with my mom. We were in Portland. I looked hot as fuck. I was like, I felt so good in my body. I was like, this is amazing. All of a sudden, anxiety took a turn. It was at like a really big high. In 3 months, I gained 30 pounds, like maybe four.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm starting to notice I'm not sleeping good. My back is hurting. Oh yeah, it's because I'm like fucking getting stretch marks overnight. I am not fitting into my clothing. I am feeling really embarrassed. But oh, you know what? Summer's almost over. I had a couple of mental breakdowns. I'm like, I don't want to put a bathing suit on, but you know what? Summer's almost over. And I can deal with it later. And I can just put on a
Mhm.
sweater and it will be okay. It wasn't fucking okay because I kept looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, what are we doing? Like I am not feeling good. I am not leading by example. My anxiety is in a better place, but now I got to take care of the physical aspect. So I relate to that, but
Yeah.
also it doesn't solve the problem, right? You can't think
Yeah.
about, okay, well, I'll do this for the short term and then I'll deal with it again later. Like hashtag toxic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is on don't cut gluten out of your diet if you don't have to, because you will end up spiraling.
You're for it. So yeah, no cutting gluten out. I thought, what was I gonna say? Oh, since we both kind of have like big months coming up, like
Yeah.
be on some podcasts. I'm gonna be on some
Hmm.
pod. What podcast are you doing?
I don't know when they're coming out.
Oh, you record
So
them?
no, I haven't, but I'm recording one with my friend Matt. He will be on our podcast as well. I don't know when it's coming out. And then the other one, I don't know when we're recording it yet. So I kind of want to wait because I'm gonna promo that one because it's like kind of a fun, like it's a
Mental health?
fun collab. Yeah, it's a mental health thing, but it was like it's a fun collab. So when that comes, I want to give more details, but my friend Matt, I want to share that because he will be on our podcast and we're going to talk about all things like reality TV, like top 10 Bravo moments. He's a marathon runner. He works for a nonprofit. He's, battled with his mental health. Like overall, he has so much to share. And I know
Mhm.
you're going to like just really click with him. And I'm excited for you guys to hear that interview.
Ooh. We can't get any tidbits about the mental health one. Like, who is it?
No, I kind of like I just want to like have like a fun special moment because I only want to like talk about Matt because he's going to be on
Oh,
here and I like want to get you guys
yeah.
excited. If you're like a reality TV buff or if you're, you are looking for just like, I guess he brings a different perspective sometimes to my life. And
Okay.
I feel like we push each other to grow and yeah, I love him. He's so fantastic.
Fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. I'll have to listen to that one because I
No, he's
listened.
coming on our podcast. That's why I wanted to. Well,
Doing what?
well, I'm doing his, but I wanted to share it with you guys here because I'm previewing he'll be on our podcast.
Yes, he will. We're recording that in a few weeks. Let's see. I'm recording with Justine, so I'm excited to be on Villain
Yes.
Era. What are we talking about? I think we're talking about what did we say? Like finances, being child free, me getting into guns.
Mm.
So that will be fun. I'm also I haven't booked it yet, and I'm not as gatekeeper as Ali, but um,
I
I'm
like an
recording with
element of surprise.
Okay, well, I like to just give people some juice and get them excited. I'm recording. Her name is Ursula. I don't know her last. I think it's Ursula Ann. But she talks about gun safety. She just got into that recently. A lot of different things, like very different from like anything I've ever anyone has ever talked to. But
Okay.
she found me from a live I did with Katrina, who is
Yeah.
a we had her on actually, and then we lost the episode.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It,
Um,
so we
yeah,
need to
this is
do a
why
re-record.
we do. Yeah, we also need to get off Zoom eventually because I've been watching your audio come in and out the whole time. Yeah, I know. It says that. It says, is this Allie connecting to audio? I don't know. We'll figure that out eventually.
Can you
But
hear me?
we Ursula, I found Ursula, or she found me from my live I did with Katrina on fitness and self defense. So she asked me to go on her podcast. I don't know when we're recording yet, but it will be in May. So yeah, that's exciting. So we've got some fun stuff going on.
Yeah, that I love being able to find people that we have such like great similarities and like interests with and just like growing and
Mhm.
kind of creating community because especially when we work from home, we run our businesses, it can be really easy to isolate and low-key podcasting feels like such a great way to actually be with people and like have real
Yeah.
conversations and build connections. So I love this for us. And May is also my birthday month. So I am literally so excited. We celebrated James's birthday, so now it's like about me, even though like I really don't like attention. I kind of do, but I don't. Like not too
You're
much, but a little.
you're a low key attention whore.
Low key, but like don't make it a big thing. Like I want attention from James and like a couple of my friends. And then I'm like,
Okay.
but any more than that, and I'm like, ugh, I'm feeling
Too many.
uncomfortable.
Literally. Anything else before we close her out?
I don't think so. The couple things I've got going on, and when this comes out, Nourish Her membership will be open for enrollment, taking some new ladies in. It's my membership where we focus on supporting your mental health by focusing on your nutrition, fitness, overcoming gym anxiety, learning how to create a confident relationship with food. It is a lot of fun in there. That is where I am like low key my most chaotic self. Like I share what the people need to hear and we have fun and we laugh and it's awesome. Like it's a really supportive environment. So I'll put the details below and it's $33 a month. Like it's going to go up to 47 after my birthday. So get in now, lock in the price. Don't be silly. It's fun. You need it.
Well, remember, this episode is coming out after your birthday, so it will be at
Oh,
47.
you know what, you guys? If you listen to this podcast and you sign up, if you send me the title of this podcast, I'll let you in for 33 because I said it. I
There
spoke
you
here.
go.
So, incentive, get your fucking ass in there. Like Kim Kardashian, get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. Do you remember her saying that and how like insane that was?
Yes, I have many thoughts on that, but yes, I
Oh,
do.
it's
I
crazy.
I do recall that iconic moment by Kim K herself. Um, what about me? Oh,
Yeah,
one-on-one
what do you got
spots.
going on?
One-on-one spots are open. I only take 5 in at a time because you bitches need attention, and I am here to please the people with the high quality attention that you need. So 5 are open. I'll put my application below, but I have options for all different types of things. If you're like, okay, I just want a plan to get going, we have that. If you're like, I want something long term, I'm a ride or die, like I need to be with someone, like how I am with my coaches, I have that too. So I'll put the application below.
I love that. We are versatile women in business. Okay, ladies?
Yes, we are working. We are working women.
Hashtag women who work.
Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share us with your girlfriend who needs to hear this. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendship, health, and 1 or 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.